Hello everyone, I fix guns. Today I had a few thoughts about sanitation. And I think one of the things that we take for granted in our country is that, and I'm talking about the United States here, we have a fresh supply of water. We just take it for granted. We know that when we turn the faucet on, there is going to be fresh, potable water that comes out of the tap. If the grid, I'm not saying when, I'm going to say if the grid goes down, all of our luxuries of clean water and sanitation will go out the window. Without city pumps running, which powered are off the grid, you won't be able to flush your toilet. In fact, in a bug-in scenario, I'm not so sure that your floor drains in your basements wouldn't overflow or wouldn't start backing up, because there are a series of lift stations around the area that keep the sewage moving. They move it out. In times of high water around my area here, they've had to bring in giant pumps to keep the groundwater moving, because it all flows into the ground, it all flows into the sewer systems through cracks, whatever, but it overwhelms the lift stations. The lift stations clearly are running on the power by the grid, or they're running on diesel generators in the case of the auxiliary pumps. So flushing, simple thing, unless you're on septic, unless you have a septic system, and that's a whole nother subject, is off-grid septic and the care and maintenance that you have to do to make sure that your septic is performing, make sure it doesn't get overwhelmed, make sure you don't have too much fresh water in the winter. So that's a whole nother subject, is post doo-doo hit the fan septic care. But back to sanitation, you've got issues. How to stay clean, how to stay hydrated. One of the things that, with your toilets not working, if you're on public utilities, you need to figure out what you're going to do with your human waste. I know it's a terrible subject, but it's something that you need to be prepared to handle. Digging a bivvy out in the yard and using it exclusively, winter or summer. Having water purification systems for personal hygiene and personal sanitation. Every single one of us has a soap dispenser on our kitchen and bathroom sink. We all may have hand sanitizer. That stuff's going to eventually dry out, and unless you've prepped a ton of concentrated detergents, bleach, pool shock, powdered pool shock, things like that, the sanitation is going to really come into play, and it's going to come into play quickly, because you're going to have the need to keep yourself clean, to fight off infections. I mean, just to wash yourself. The longer you go without bathing, there's a significant moral or not moral, but it's a morale. It's a morale. It's morale. When you take a shower, if you've ever been in the woods for 3-4 days, if you've ever not been able to shower for 3 or 4 days, that shower is the most welcome thing that you've ever had. Your skin is this huge organ, and if it's dirty, if it's sick on a regular basis, you feel bad. So for morale, you need to bathe. That's not taking into account the infection potentials and just the filth that's on you, and your hands are dirty, you eat with your hands, you touch, it's just a ton of ton of potential for infection internally and externally. So be thinking about sanitation in the broad sense. Be thinking about sanitation and how it impacts you currently and post-economic collapse if it happens. Be thinking about your family, little kids, if you have them. If not, how much soap are you going to need for you and your family, your wife, your children, your retreat group, if you have one. I just think that this is one of the things that commonly gets overlooked, and people will, everybody's stocking up on beans and bullets and, the stuff that commonly gets talked about, but personal hygiene and sanitation is going to be critical. How are you going to do a haircut? Do you have scissors? I mean, things like that. Me, I look really bad with hair. There's nothing left up there, and it looks pretty hideous. So I probably need to stock up on some form of razors or clippers or something. That's all I know. I'm iFixGuns, and we'll see you soon.